So hello everyone, today we'll be talking about the top 5 programming languages that you should learn to be a better software engineer at FANG companies or Fortune 500 companies, or to be a better computer science or an engineering student. So start करने से पहले one thing you should always remember, there is no such thing as perfect programming language. अगर आपसे कोई पूछता है, let's say I am taking your interview tomorrow, because I've been taking interviews from the last 3-4 months, and whenever someone asks you why you chose this language as compared to Python, C Sharp, etc., your answer should contain 3 reasons. Number 1, how efficient that programming language is, how maintainable that programming language is, and number 3, how fast you can write code in that programming language. That is also covered in efficient, but this is very important because हर use case के लिए perfect programming language हो सकती है. You know, so for example, if you're making Android app, there are only 2 to 3 options. If you're making iOS app, there are other 3 options. So that's why you should always say that this programming language was perfect for that use case because you were able to write code faster in that language and it was more maintainable. For example, अगर आप कोई Android app लिख रहे हो or iOS app लिख रहे हो, you notice that it's faster in Objective-C because you can write iOS apps in Objective-C as well as Swift. You notice that it's loading faster if it is written in Objective-C. It's just an assumption. It might not be the case. But after running the app, you realize in your team, all of the 5 developers are Swift developers. Now, in that case, you'll be slower in writing code in Objective-C. So the best programming language for you will be Swift. So that's how you calculate. Now, category number 1, competitive programming, which is very important to clear the interview. जब भी आप कोई technical interview round देते हो, whenever you are summoned for an interview or whenever you are asked to give an interview, you are always given a HackerRank challenge, or maybe it's in person, right? So whenever you're given an HackerRank challenge, हमेशा edge cases हो सकते हैं. There's a possibility that in a question, they ask you, do this problem and it should run in 500 milliseconds. Whenever you consider an efficient programming languages, top of the line or top of the list are C, C++, and Java. So if you will write code for data structures, algorithms in C++, Java, or C, then your chances of clearing the round of technical interview will be higher. So that's why I will prefer not to learn Python for that reason. If you want to be an efficient programmer, then choose these languages, and you can learn or try in Python as well. And whenever you are making a resume, you can write that you're proficient in C++, Java, and you can just write Python as it is without in parentheses proficient. जितनी ज़्यादा आपको programming languages होंगी, it is still useful because आप जब आपका interviewer आपका resume पढ़ रहा है, he will be impressed that you know more programming languages. But for competitive programming, just for the reason C++ and Java are efficient, I will choose these 2 to learn data structures and algorithms well. And in terms of concepts, when you are learning data structures algorithms, the questions I ask are mainly related to hash maps, sorting, number theory, greedy algorithms, and dynamic programming, and BFS, DFS. So not a lot of concepts. So if you do 2 to 3 questions at least before one day before the interview to revise, that will be good enough. Now, category number 2, automation engineer, which is probably one of the most underrated field in the industry. Because अगर आप उसकी salary देखो, it is lower as compared to other fields, but it's still very up there, which is $90,000 in the United States. And अगर आप top companies में देखोगे, it is paid pretty well according to Indeed as well. And my favorite website for salaries is levels.fy. आप इसमें industry डाल सकते हो, data scientist, product designer, product manager, software engineer, and you can find average salary for every city in the US, and that's one of my favorite too. Now, automation engineer में मैंने खुद automation इतनी ज़्यादा की है. Imagine आपको 100 Excel sheets edit करनी है. Excel sheets are pretty heavy. It takes a lot of RAM and processing power of your computer. अगर आपको 100 Excel sheets edit करनी है, now you can edit all of them with one Python or Bash script. शायद और languages भी आप use कर सकते हो. But basically for general everyday automation tasks, you can use Python because Python की सबसे ज़्यादा library compatibility है. You can find pretty much all the libraries you need for automation or data science on Python. So it's one of the most versatile for daily uses, but most common programming language for automation is going to be Java, क्योंकि इंडस्ट्रीज में आजकल काफ़ी कंपनीज में ऑटोमेशन के लिए स्पेसिफिक टीम्स है. अगर आपको इमेजिन करो, लेट्स लुक एट डोमिनोज पिज़्ज़ा डिलीवरी प्रोसेस. अगर आपको पिज़्ज़ा ऑर्डर करना हो, देयर आर टोटल 100 or thousands of combinations of ordering a pizza. आप डिफरेंट टॉपिंग्स ऐड कर सकते हो, आप डिफरेंट सॉस ऐड कर सकते हो, आप डिफरेंट तरीके के पिज़्ज़ा को लार्ज, मीडियम, स्मॉल कर सकते हो. देयर आर थाउजेंड्स ऑफ कॉम्बिनेशन. Now, how can you test it? One option is you spend hours and hours एक combination को select करके आप test करो. Number 2 option is you can automate the process using JavaScript, because if it is a web app for Domino's, you will be using JavaScript. Android, iOS, maybe Java, Objective-C, etc. And in this case, most common programming language for automation is Java. Number 2 is JavaScript, and number 3 is Python. So if you know these 3 languages, you can make easily 90,000 plus as ऑटोमेशन इंजीनियर. एंड ट्रस्ट मी, दिस इज सो यूजफुल. आपको खुद पहले एक प्रोजेक्ट करना चाहिए इन ऑटोमेशन. कोई भी लैंग्वेज यूज करो, जावा, पाइथन, सी. वंस यू आर गुड इनफ इन दैट लैंग्वेज, इन योर रिज्यूमे राइट इन पैरेंथेसिस प्रोफिशिएंट, और जो बाकी आपने लैंग्वेजेस यूज किए उसमें आप प्रोफिशिएंट ना भी लिखो, क्योंकि अगर आपने एटलीस्ट एक प्रोजेक्ट किया है इन अदर प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेजेस, यू कैन से दैट यू हैव वर्कड ऑन इट, एंड उससे आपका ज्यादा इंप्रेशन पड़ेगा. नाउ कैटेगरी नंबर 3, डेटा साइंस इंजीनियर्स और डेटा साइंटिस्ट. They have probably one of the highest salary in the tech industry, according to Indeed, $109,000. It might be even more than that in some cases. Do you know why? Because most of the data scientists have either a master's degree or a PhD degree. Even if you look at Twitter's CEO Parag Agrawal, he also had a PhD degree. So the point is, if you have clear understanding of statistics, masters can come handy because you can learn more in-depth statistics, but that's not important. So if you just did undergraduate, if you want to do machine learning, data science, the best programming language will be Python, because it has maximum library compatibility. For example, if you're given a data, if you want to convert into a graph, pie chart, or even if you want to make an Excel sheet out of it, all of this is possible in Python, also in R, but the compatibility in Python is bigger. So that's why these will be the 2 most common programming language that you should learn to be a data scientist. Now, category number 3 is mobile app developer, which I do as well. I do both Android and iOS. अगर आपको Android में जाना है, then I think most common programming language still is Java and Kotlin. Lot of industries are shifting from Java to Kotlin, because Kotlin में थोड़ा सा code में जो null pointer exceptions कम होती हैं, or you can say some errors are less common, or you can say the code is much clear and easier to read and understand. So that's why Kotlin is common. But if you want to start right now, I'll still recommend Java, because it can be used in automation as well. So you'll be learning the same language to do multiple purposes, but Kotlin सिर्फ Android के लिए use होती है. So that's why you can start with Java and later on switch to Kotlin as well. And for iOS development, I'll recommend Swift, because that's more common, but Objective-C is still used in a lot of companies. For example, Facebook still uses Objective-C to make this iOS app. अभी भी काफी common है. A lot of the unit tests are written in Objective-C. पर अगर आपको C या C++ आती है, the one we talked about in comparative programming, you can easily catch up Objective-C. But अगर आपको अभी start करना है, you should start with Swift. So ये तो होगी native programming languages. By native I mean कि Android support करती है Java and Kotlin, and Apple support करती है Swift and Objective-C. But if you want to make a cross-platform app, अगर for example अगर आप कोई game नहीं बना रहे हो जिसमें lag obvious नहीं है, अगर आप simple calculator app बना रहे हो जिसमें रिजल्ट थोड़ा लेट भी आ जाए, फर्क नहीं पड़ता. सो इन दैट केस यू कैन यूज डार्ट फॉर अ क्रॉस प्लेटफॉर्म ऐप, जो आप एंड्रॉइड एंड iOS में भी रन कर सकते हो. सो डार्ट इज प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज विच इज यूज्ड इन फ्लटर, एंड इट इज आई थिंक मेड बाय गूगल. आई थिंक आई हैव टू चेक. आई थिंक इट्स मेड बाय Flutter origin. Yeah, Google made it. So Google made Flutter in 2017. So if you want to get into cross-platform, you can definitely check out Dart programming, and it's pretty fun. अगर आप 1-2 projects बनाओगे, you can prove that you are a versatile programmer. आप कुछ भी जल्दी से सीख सकते हो. Now, final category, full stack developer, and salary is actually lower than mobile app developer. I don't trust it. I think दोनों की salary काफी अच्छी है. It's pretty close there. Mobile app developer is a little bit exaggerated, but for full stack developer, most common programming languages are HTML, CSS, JavaScript, जो UI के लिए होती हैं, and for server, it might be Python, PHP as well, but most common is definitely Python server in 2021 and 2022. Now, if you look at most common frameworks for JavaScript, and I think the results will be Angular, Node, and React. You should at least learn React. React is so amazing. React से आपको थोड़ा बहुत रिएक्टिव प्रोग्रामिंग के बारे में भी सीखने का मिलेगा, बिकॉज अगर आपको रिएक्टिव प्रोग्रामिंग आती है, आप स्विफ्ट रिएक्ट भी सीख सकते हो, क्योंकि स्विफ्ट रिएक्ट भी काफ़ी यूज हो रहा है फॉर iOS. आप RX जावा भी सीख सकते हो, विच इज़ यूज इन एंड्रॉइड. सो रिएक्ट प्रोग्रामिंग आई थिंक थोड़ी बहुत अंडरस्टैंडिंग इररिस्पेक्टिव ऑफ द फील्ड आपको आनी चाहिए, ताकि आप कैचअप कर पाओ इन डिफरेंट एरियाज ऑफ software engineering. So I'll say these libraries are most common, and if you learn these, you will be able to, become or show that you are a versatile programmer. And with this diverse resume, at the end of the day, you'll be able to prove कि आप कुछ भी जल्दी सीख सकते हो, you're a quick learner, and एक programming language आपको limit नहीं कर सकती. At the end of the day, you're a programmer. That means a programming language cannot stop you to making things work. So that'll be the video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.